Here we go. All right, here we are. Episode 6, I think, of Review. A series where I look at my old videos for approximately 25 minutes and tell you if they're still worth a damn or if there's something more equivalent. Because if you've not been around this channel long, I've done a lot of stuff. We're still 5 years ago. Wallpaper, by the way, available in the description if you want that. Just trying to get my head oriented. I'm using the preview window on the phone, and this is the worst app ever. Okay, so last time we ended on the Exto TA2, which was a little tube amp that I don't remember or recall how well that performed, but Exto has never given me a stinker. Now, the Schiit Stack Modi plus Magni version 1. That's, you know what? I don't remember anything except that every time I got a Schiit product since then, it's been better and then better. And now with the Magni 3 and the Heresy, which will also be linked in the description, by the way. I'm only going to link things you should buy. If I talk about something that's old and shitty, I will not link it. The ones that links in the description, if you want to like cheat sheet, is the stuff you should buy. So I will definitely link the Heresy and the Magni 3. Those are easily the things you should purchase. But not the, and anything behind a Magni Uber, don't touch it. No touch. No touch. The Focal Spirit 1s, those sucked. Those were uncomfortable, poorly built, didn't sound very good. I think they were expensive. I'm having a hard time remembering 100%, but I'm pretty sure I fucking hated it. By the way, is the air conditioner bothering you? Because it's blasting right now. Just accept that. Oh, and this is the stage we're at currently where the speakers are coming off there to remove the sim racing rig so that the shelf doesn't collapse. So they're there. Yeah, so moves are going on, and I've got the white balance set, I think 4,000. So yeah, no, the Focal Spirit 1s are a no. Brainwavz HM9s. This was a weird one because I was sent these by Brainwavz, and I kind of loved how they felt on my head because they use those really thick pads, like the original, kind of like those Sony crazy thick pads. But they were bass monsters. I think I gave those to somebody. Pretty sure I just gave those to somebody who was like, here, because they had incredibly good build, like metal forks that came down and held everything. But it was just not an audiophile headphone. Not even close. By the way, I did a 12-hour stream today. So 9 hours of packing and 3 hours of balloons, GD5. Yeah, so Brainwavz HM9, way different than the HM5s. Just way different. That's all you've got to really know. All right, moving down. We've got the FiiO E11k, which was a portable DAC amp that was actually pretty powerful. That was the Kilimanjaro 2. And that was only beaten way later down the line by FiiO's A5, I think it was called. I still have one, I think. I don't know if I sold it. But those were just pure amps. Those were like, we didn't do anything, but they want a signal in and a signal out. They didn't have DACs, they didn't have Bluetooth. So that was back in like a really weird point when people's phones still had like, I don't know, headphone jacks. Remember that? Who remembers that? I don't remember that shit. But yeah, back when phones had headphone jacks, you would just get a headphone amp and then you'd use whatever shitty DAC came with your phone. The HiFiMan 400i's. This is what, these were 5 years ago? I feel like this was an earlier review or a later review. The 400i's, oh, you know what it is? They came in multiple revisions. There was like a 400i and then a 400i and then another 400i, and they all were different. And the original 400i was not that good, and then it took them like completely redoing it. I think that might have even still had the screw terminals on it. And then they finally went, and everyone was like, oh my god, they've gotten rid of the screw terminals, and they've got these other fucking terminals that actually plug in. I think they were 1/8 inch. So don't look for, if you're looking for old HiFimans or 400 series, for the love of God, check to make sure they don't have the screw-on terminals, because those were a bad set. The SoundMagic HP150s. These headphones were fucking good. They were built well. They weren't that expensive. I'd heard about them like the HP100s, and then I ended up purchasing the 150s. Patreon giveaway back in the day. Oh my God, it's 1337 is the time. Elite status on that. And I got them, I reviewed them, and then they disappeared from my thought process entirely. Because it was like an expensive enough headphone that I was like, oh, it's like $100 headphone. It's got to be decent. And then I didn't care. So I mean, does that mean it's irrelevant? If you own or have ever owned a SoundMagic product, please say so in the comments. I'd love to know if anyone's still rocking HP150s, or maybe there's something new, or maybe they're only sold in Thailand or something, because I don't know. They've been around. I think someone showed me those a couple months ago, and I was like, oh wow, they're still going. How to paint your Sennheiser, how to paint your headphones, which that guide was probably correct. And look, it's short, it's 23 minutes, so I must have edited it. But the Sennheiser HD600s are kind of cheating, because HD600s literally come apart without tools. But yeah, that video exists. If you want to search that video, feel free to like pop down and go to the search bar up there. Go up there and type in how to paint your headphones. I used to preview different, like my Z Does is one of those things. That's an unlisted video of the GoPro from 5 years ago with no views. It's 12 minutes long. Why? It's just my projections. I'm gonna have to know. I'm gonna watch that in a bit, because it's a raw GoPro upload from 5 years ago for 12 minutes looking at my projection screen on the ceiling. Soundmagic demo. Oh God. JBL Studio 530. That pair right there. The only set of speakers that in this house there are two of. I have a brand new set of JBL 530s that I bought when they were on crazy sale, and they're in a box, and they're moving with me to the new house. And I was thinking about it today, like literally today. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get to use my 530s. I'm gonna get to use my 530s. And then I went, wait, what if I put them up in the loft? Wait, what if I had 4 identical speakers in the corners of the loft? Wait, do I have 4 identical speakers? Yes, 530s. I fucking still love them. Like, they are a very, very, very good speaker in a room, but when you put them on a desk, there's only like one speaker that beats it, and it's the LS50, which is $1,000 speaker. So like, even someone just this week bought a set and went, yeah, you know, I see what you're talking about when you're talking about a small room. This desk used to be like, give a monitor that way, and I used to have those just right here, just perfect. I love the 530s. I'm so glad they still pop up and sell them on JBL's website. You could check Amazon, they might show up there, but they still sell them on JBL's website. I better, yeah, I'll lower that. Sorry, pasta. I said pasta, you see? Because it's not pasta, because we're not communist. Hold on, I gotta see what's going on. Oh, doggo sleepy. That's all you got to know. So yeah, Studio 530, I can't, if they had dicks, I'd have been sucking them for 5 years. 5 years. 5 years of dick sucking for the Studio 530s. I'll try to link them in the description. There's no guarantee. I froze this. I hope it's still recording, because that'll suck. The June Patreon drawing, fashionably late. I used to still do the drawing of like who was gonna win 2 items by drawing it out of a fucking bucket. That doesn't happen anymore. The Centrance HiFi M8. What the fuck was that? Was that a DAC? I'm holding it. I'm gonna see what it looks like. Hold on. Oh, for fuck's sake, I hate ads. You know what I don't get on Firefox? Ads. I'm gonna assume the Centrance M8. I don't remember what it is. If it's 5 years old and I don't remember what it is, I don't think it fucking matters. See, it's just write down Centrance HiFi M8. It's not worth me going through a 5-second advertisement to see what the hell that is. Moving on. The Antlion Mod Mic version 4 versus Sony Clip-On versus Logitech USB. My original Logitech USB. So that was like my first microphone review. And Antlion still makes the Mod Mic 5, and now the Mod Mic USB, and then the Mod Mic like Simpleton. They make all the, they still do. They still make them all. It's just a matter of like, Quit that. Go away. I actually found the Sony clip-on today. It was on that table, like tucked under there, and I put it in a box because if you just need an old school 1/8 inch analog microphone, it was like $20. I was still linked to Sony. I still recommend the mod mic, even though newer revision, probably the USB one was the best one. And yeah, the Logic USB, no one sells a cheap $30 to $40 USB microphone that isn't like a Blue Snowball ripoff. It was just a little slender neck mic that with room cancellation in front and back and a little on-off green button. Like that was, you could see it in the background of that image. I love that. That was Cheese's mic. Fucking Mad Cat's still using it to this day. That was a 10-year-old mic. It's 10 years old, 5 years old there, 10 years old now. Here was a big one. And this is another, I stopped doing this because it was really a pain in the dick. This was a review of the Sennheiser HD600s, 650s, and 700s. What I should have done is individual reviews of the 600, 650, 700, or the 600 and 650, and then versus the 700, or the 600 versus the 700, then like anything but one lump video, because if you look for my review of the HD600, you don't want to watch a video 29 minutes long about 3 headphones. You want to watch a new modern Zeos video. It's 29 minutes long and about 1 headphone. But yeah, no, people get lost. They lose the. It's good to compare, but I usually do like a couple of individuals and then wrap it up at the end. Oh, in case you haven't figured out, HD600s are fucking the best because they literally suck the flavor out of any amplifier you plug them into and explain it to you. Like, because they love a tube and they love a different tubes and have more tube, less tube, and then it's like this is a little sibilant or this has more. They are very, very, very amp dependent, but in a great way. Some headphones are very, very amp dependent and sound like shit, HD800s, until you find the right amp. But the HD600s are great, and then they sound even better with different amplifiers. The original Emotiva A100 Mini X. It's not mine. That's not mine. It's got the silver fascia. That's my roommate's. That's the guy who used to rent this as his bedroom. That was his, and that didn't have the headphone plug, but I did have, I think right there, you see it, a headphone adapter. So I was actually doing the Page 11 mod manually back in the day. And so there you go. So I mean, it's always been a good amp. Speaker amp, desktop headphone amp for crazy hard to drive headphones. If you have easy to drive headphones, don't buy an A100 because you know you have 300 ohm HD600s like we just talked about. Yes. You got T50s. Yes. You got 880 600 ohm. Yes. You have something lightweight. Well, I got some Koss Porta Pros. You'll hear the noise floor because it's still a power amp. It's still a speaker amp. HD600 sound demo. HD650 sound demo, HD700s. I guess I should talk about the 700s for a second. 600s are still my favorite of that group for sure. 650s were slightly different. I didn't hate the 650s. It was just like, of the two, from what I wanted, the 600s did it better. And then the 700s, according to people, the 700s, the driver in the 700s, it's what's in the 660S. So, I mean, they didn't feel right. They had a whole list of problems. They felt better on your head than the HD800s because they were smaller. The HD800s are just too fucking big. But, I don't know. I never fell in love. You want to talk about falling in love, though. Here you go. HiFiMan HE500. Planar, heavy, old school HiFiMan with the screw-on connectors. Those things were murderously fucking aggressive. Crazy Charlie Sheen, Tiger Blood fucking planars. You buried you. And they buried you in a way that you loved it. Like, I absolutely would still buy a set of HE500s. They went more finesse and sort of accurate. Those were fucking lunacy. Those remind me of the Virum 1s. I got the Virum 1s, which I'm not going to link them though. But those are like that sort of like raw, like let's just make a fucking planar because who gives a shit. So I had the 400s and 500s, and the 400s were just a lighter version of that. And those had huge pad mods on them, and the top headband had like a giant strap. It was crazy. I watched movies with those things. I don't think there's as aggressive a planar headphone available right now than that. I actually reviewed Nerf guns with 1 million channel views. Holy shit, we're up to 4 years ago. We sipped to 4 years ago. Hooray! I got 1 million channel views. Currently, I sit at like 61 million channel views. So that's a ramp. We ramped up to like, it only hit 50 million channel views a while back, but I think we're at 60 now because I get like 1.5 million a month, which is pretty fucking impressive because I haven't changed my content much. It's just you people keep finding me. So hello, new people. I'm sure this is someone's first Z review. Every Z review is someone's first Z review, which is why when people yell at me for not changing, I'm like, but I don't want to give somebody something different. I want them all to get the same first fucking experience. Accidentally Extraordinary 50th sound demo edited. I've done 50 sound demos already? What even is that? Oh my god. Oh, that was the name of the fucking headphone. The 51st Studios Accidentally Extraordinary. I don't remember those fuckers at all. I don't remember those at all. I don't remember those at all. I don't remember those at all. So, I mean, there you go. What does that tell you? I'm still standing in the living room, by the way. There's no desk. Get a desk. My roommate was still living here. That's his cabinet. So he was still living. This was his bedroom. So I didn't have a desk. I had a little desk, but it was always nicer to have like the windows. It's gonna suck doing reviews in a basement. Patreon funded plus Z reviews subreddit. Don't know what that isn't pertaining to. It's 2 minutes long, and I'd go to it, but a fucking ad will play. I'm sure. I created the Z review subreddit, RZ reviews. That still exists. It still goes on. Reddit has made some very, very fucked up changes in its last couple years, and I have just sort of like pushed it aside. It's still it's like a nostalgia. It brings me back to Reddit every once in a while, but I don't want to hang out there. And the people who are on that subreddit, God bless you, keeping it going. Keep it going, help each other out. However, Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forum does exist. And we aren't run by Reddit, so there's always that. The Alpha Primes. So these are Mr. Speakers. These are a T50 mod. And someone recently got an offer. He was like, hey, I could buy these for like $400. And I think they were $900 or $1,100, and they were just a T50 mod. You see, this is where I yell at Ryan from Modhouse, who makes the Argons, because I was going to point at the headphones, but they're not here. They're packed. Modhouse needs to charge more, because the work he does in figuring out how to tune something and then manually opening up every fucking headphone and doing it and matching the drivers and swapping if need be, and then putting the pads on and giving it to you, he charges like $90. That's not... The Alpha Primes were 3D printed, and back in the day I didn't know what the fuck that meant. So I was like, oh my god, there must be impossible shapes in here. And it's just a cup. He just made a different cup. He just made a fucking cup and painted it. He didn't even change the headband. He just made a cup and painted it. He was charging like $800. And that's what Ryan from Modhouse needs to do. He needs to fucking charge people. Because Mr. Speakers can now, you know, produce... Well, he's probably going bankrupt because of the whole, like, starting an investment thing. But you can't make Ether 2s with making, like, $60 on a headphone. You can't. You can't do it. It's not worth the time and effort. It's got to be price to performance. And if you put the T60 Argons against the Alpha Primes, just throw those fucking things in the garbage. Because the T60 Argons are a perfect T50 mod. Better than the M Mark IIIs in my opinion. A little less relaxed. But how did I get into T60 Argons? Anyway, T60 Argons are way better than the Alpha Primes. But back in the day, that was it. That was the pinnacle of a modded headphone. And I'm pretty sure if I powered it properly today, I'd probably still sound okay, but I wouldn't run after it. The Z Reviews TR Pro speaker stand, 36-inch. I still have a pair of these. They're I don't know if they're linkable. If they're linkable, I'll link them. Because the only other set I found that's 36 inches and not like insanely high expensive is a Rockville, which is like, eh. But those were like metal verticals, multiple different options for the feet. Actually, I think I had to add screws to them because I think they just fucking didn't build them right. The BioBidet BB800. For those of you who don't know, the channel name here is Z Reviews. Not Z Audio Reviews or Z Headphone Reviews. It's Z Reviews. I did a flashlight a couple weeks, like months previous to this. What's leaking? There's water falling down. Son of a bitch. That's why the fucking carpet's wet. Hold. Be right back. That has never leaked, and all of a sudden that air conditioner decides to just tilt forward and leak. It's got to be. They're not supposed to leak. I paused the timer, by the way. Modern air conditioners are not supposed to drip water out of them. There's a reason for that. They're supposed to gather up a pool of water, and then it's supposed to hit the fan in the back and get aerated through the fucking vents in the back, which, because the water will hit that, evaporate, and take more heat with it. It acts as like a heat passive system. And so I think I messed up on one of these air conditioners and actually drilled holes. So I said, this is not going to drain. I didn't realize that was the way that it works currently. So yeah, that's the way modern air conditioners work. They shouldn't drip like they used to do in the old days, where there was like a tube coming down. They should pool towards the back. You lean them far enough back. The fan that's spinning will literally just gently pick up and just, you shouldn't even hear it. And it'll just aerate through the back radiator and cool off the radiator more efficiently, and therefore it's a more efficient air conditioner. And I don't know, I moved all this stuff today at a 9-hour live stream, and there was a couple of wet things on the floor, but this floor has been like wet and damp, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, did the cat pee on it? So it must have been doing that for like 2 weeks now. Great. Fucking great. It's great. It's great. How you doing? Great? Let's continue along. The BioBidet BB800. This channel is not called Z Reviews. It's called Z Reviews, so I can review fucking anything I feel like. And one consumer appliance has changed my life more than any. It's bidet. And you're all like, Zeals, learn to wipe your ass. No, fuck you, internet. That pissed me off. So now I'm not even going to go a little bit nice on you. In every fucking modern Eastern country that has better hygiene and medical, they all have bidets. They all have bidets. Not a single one of them is like, oh, we wipe our ass with paper. And if I described what bidets actually do, and it's not about wiping your ass, it's about the entire pre and then during and then post process, you'd probably shut off this video. But I don't care. You're getting the girl wearing the meat shirt wallpaper. I'll say whatever the hell I want. When you sit down at a bidet to use it properly, before you do anything with your sphincter, you hit the button that goes water. You fill up the tank a little bit, and then you stop it, and then you go, and then you wipe with the thing, and then when you get up, and I always do one security wipe, and there's nothing there. It's lubrication. You add water lubrication, and that was one of the first ones I had, and it didn't have a infinite hot water. It had like 40 seconds of hot water or warm water. And 40 seconds is enough when you're first starting out. But then after a while, it's like, all right, you go for that second burst, and it's like, oh, I just ran out, and it's the middle of January, and guess what's in the pipes? Icicles. So I would never go back to a tanked one. You got to get an infinite hot water bidet. It's fucking requirement. It's fucking just hit the button and just go, 2 minutes later, you're done. But yeah, no, bidets are the greatest fucking things ever. Fight me. Oh, no, the BiPAP machines, no. Bidets. The RHA MA750i IEMs. I don't remember if I liked or hated those. No clue. No fucking clue. I think this is IEMs when I first started them. This might be like my first IEM. I don't even know if there was another one before this in this series. They were just all shit. 4 years, holy crap. 4 years ago, only 4 years ago, every IEM was garbage. Anybody want to prove me different? Like in the comments, say, hey Zeos, I remember 4 years ago, 2016, I had this set and it still competes to this day. Is there a 4-year-old IEM that you would take over the current crop of $50 IEMs? At any cost, tin T2s versus Go. Like, there's so much good that's come out of like the cheap hi-fi that I can't even imagine. Like I did a couple back in the day, Westtones and stuff, and I wouldn't even wipe my ass with them. I'd throw them in the water, let the bidet handle them. I'm gonna end on, yeah, the next one will be the KRK Rocket 5s. We'll get to that. But the SoundMagic HP200. So we just talked about the SoundMagic HP150. And there it is again, another SoundMagic headphone. Really well built. Like the way it sounds. Completely irrelevant 4 years later. No one even remembers SoundMagic. So that's that. That is literally fucking that. There ain't nothing else to talk about. Does anybody here SoundMagic anything? No? Does anyone here have 4-year-old IEMs that are still the best? Here's the thing. Okay, 4 years ago, maybe a $300-400 IEM could still compete, but with like $50 IEMs, like the tin T2s will just destroy you. Meet wallpaper available in the description. The list of things I talked about and only links to things that you should actually still consider buying in the description. Please check out the, I was going to say GoFundMe. Please check out the Patreon and the Subscribe Star. They're going to be paying the mortgage coming up. That's always fun. But thanks to everyone who is participating. You get to see reviews, not these early, because these are just fun. And I don't have to push them through the cycle of, oh, make sure the patrons see it first and everything. But if you are a patron, you get to see usually reviews first, a week, 2 weeks in advance, depending on when I put them together. You get to ask me any question you want on platform, and you get to participate in the yard sales. So when things like I get in, it's like, oh, let's try these MeFos. Oh, these MeFo True Wireless. Okay, they're pretty good. All right, I mean, thanks MeFo for sending them over, but I don't need them. Anybody want to buy these? $8. $8. It's usually more than $8, but I will ship for free continental to the United States and half shipping international, and that money goes to buying other things that I haven't been sent or pay the mortgage again. But yeah, so those are the 3 benefits of the $5 tier. There is a $10 tier, or higher tiers for that matter, that puts you into a private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat, which currently has its own separate swap meet channel. So that people can just go in there, make a post, say, I'm selling this, this, and this. And then people PM you, and if you want to sell it to them, you're done. And you know, you're all the $10 paying patrons. I can verify everyone's address, everyone's intentions. So it's actually a pretty safe place to do like hardware swap. And you just leave the post there until it's gone, and you could edit it and just delete it, and that's gone. So that's something that's available only to the $10 patrons who are in the $10 Telegram chat. Either one, subscribes to our Patreon, gets you into that at that level. And there are going to be hardware swaps at higher, and it actually there's going to be a lifetime channel, but that's going to be like a big donation, and then you just never have to pay it again. So the $10 chat refreshes every 3 months, and if you're not up to date, then you go, but you only have to be in it, and then you stay until it's gone. And it's, I did a 12.5-hour live stream today. Did I mention that? Yeah. Did I mention that my fucking air conditioner just took a piss? I was like, what is peeing in my house? Oh, so that explains all the moisture. So now I've got to go and tell my landlord that the rugs are a little bit damp and figure out what the fuck. Okay, we're done. You're good. I'm good. She's good. She says meat, but she's drinking something else. I'll show him. I'm not making the joke. I'm not making the joke. Anyway, goodbye.